Gojo Tio, back here again with another one. And in today's video, I'll be talking about the science fiction book, one of the greatest in science fiction, called Dune. And Dune is a story that spans upon 5,000 years. And those books are called Dune, then Dune the Messiah, Children of Dune, God Emperor of Dune, Heretic of Dune, Chapter House Dune. So just to explain just a little bit about the story, and I would be talking about spoilers, so please leave the video before I start talking about spoilers. I warned you, so be it. So basically, the organization of the Bene Gesserit, which is a all-female super race that have been governing the universe for thousands of years beside the emperor of the known universe. And their whole goal is to selective breed what they call the Quinns Ideas, a male Bene Gesserit. A male Bene Gesserit that can see places that the Bene Gesserit cannot see, into the future and also the past. And so the Quinns Ideas did come, just not how they wanted. And basically the story takes place on the planet Arrakis. And Arrakis is basically one of the only planets in the universe where the drug called spice is found. The spice melange can basically awaken something called prescient vision. Long story short, it allows one to see the future, and it can also heighten the awareness and also stimulate the brain and awaken parts of the human brain that humans could not even begin to grasp. But the thing about spice is that once you start taking spice, you kind of have to keep on taking it. It's like a steroid basically. If one gets addicted to spice and then stop taking it, they will get something called spice withdrawals, which means it will have a great toll on your mind and you will start to break down in numerous of ways. And from there, I guess you guys can get the gist of what this story is kind of about. But in this story, you also have different families. Paul, which is our main character, is a part of House Atreides. Paul Atreides, he is the son of Duke Leto Atreides, and basically they have a rival house, a house that they go against and compete against, that also have their own planet called the Harkonnens. And the Harkonnens basically always try to get in the way of the Atreides in some way, because they're basically natural born enemies. And in the books we find out, which I don't know if they were revealed in the movies, but in the books we do find out that the Harkonnens and the Atreides are actually related. And it all takes place and all goes back to the selective breeding from the Bene Gesserits and things like that. And if you guys want to know more about that, I suggest you to read the book, before I start doing more content on this. But yeah, all that stuff basically tie in. So now I want to talk about Paul Atreides, a good main character. One of the greatest main characters I have seen in this day and age, which this is a old book from what I have been hearing, but just the way Frank Herbert went about writing Paul and the things he does. So what I'm basically trying to say is that you have your Frodo, you have your Bilbo, you have your Harry Potter, and those characters have something in common to where they have certain things put in place for them, or things that were fated to be, for them by certain people, But Paul is a little different. Certain people put things in place for Paul. And even when it comes to powers and stuff like that, people try to help Paul, go in a certain way of, getting his powers and controlling his power. But instead, he says, what, I'm going to do it my way. And basically it's like whatever, the person that had something planned for Paul or thought that it was fated to happen a certain way for Paul didn't go in that direction. He always went the other way, basically doing it his way. But does this mean that Paul was selfish, arrogant? No, because Paul did take heed to what his advisors told him, to what his trainers told him, through Howat and Duncan, Idaho. And they all saw the man that Paul became to be. And even me, I'm only on the first book, but I can see this villainly like complex to Paul character, and also the way Paul goes about things, and also how cautious he is to the people that he fights. And when Paul is faced with fear, or when he has to confront a situation, as he had to confront the situation when he had to fight James of the Freedman, he says in his head, "I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain." It's little things like this that catch me and makes me think about, Paul's character and everything. And like I said, I have not read every Dune book. I am proceeding to do so. But I do know that Paul, for me, as of right now, is a character that I truly do like. And I have to say, this story in terms of, Paul's power and just the way Frank Herbert, controls, the power of, Paul Muad'Dib is very interesting, because having the power to see the future, but seeing the future could also mean, one little wrong move could, change a lot. He basically can see nexuses, in time. Things are liable to change. And it's interesting to see how Paul acts on, those nexuses, So, with that being said, my people, that is Dune for you. And I advise you guys to start reading it. It's fire to me. I will start doing reviews and, certain discussions on this channel on Dune. And I also will be starting reading the book called The Hyperion Cantos. And with that being said, my people, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video and you want more content like this, please subscribe.